Yep, that's right. Donald Trump, your friendly neighborhood tariff man, strikes again, slapping Canada with a 35% tariff. Yeah, that's right, 35% tariffs. But before we panic, this is only on non-CUSMA compliant items, which is about 15% of the trade that Canada does with the US anyways. So this is really not as significant as it's being made out to be in the media. And one has to wonder, what exactly is DJT trying to accomplish by doing this? Is he trying to distract from something? Nobody knows. But this is what the Canadian Prime Minister, Carney, has to say about the matter. So he says, while the Canadian government is disappointed by this action, we remain committed to CUSMA. Haha, you got that right. Which is the world's second largest free trade agreement by trading volume. Carney wrote in a letter posted on X early Friday. The US application of CUSMA means that the US average tariff rate on Canadian goods remains one of its lowest for all of its trading partners. So you just have to really admire the way Carney, our Prime Minister, is handling this. And at first when he got elected, I wasn't exactly so happy about it, but the way he's handling this is honestly like a chess master, to be honest. Because why rush? You already saw what happened to the EU, right? They pretty much got bamboozled by DJT. So why should Canada rush into any agreement when we already have a pretty good deal? CUSMA agreement that secures us for 85% of our trade. So why do we need to rush into any deals? But anyways, let's hear what Ontario Premier Doug Ford has to say about the matter.
President Trump taking direct aim at our economy. His goal is to take every single business out of our country, out of our province, and bring it down to the U.S. But I'll tell you, I will fight like I've never fought before, and we're going to continue fighting against President Trump and his radical views. You know what's a problem with President Trump? And, you know, we're united. First of all, I've never seen this country more united, ever, in all my years of being in politics, and it's a great feeling, all provinces, territories, municipalities, and the federal government. But, you know, Prime Minister Carney is trying his best, but this guy will say something one day, and he'll wake up, and the cheese slips off the cracker, and then all of a sudden he goes the other way. And you're thinking, how do you deal with a guy like this? Are we hoping that we can get a deal with zero tariffs? Yes. But I always say how we can kick back, and it's not the American people, kick back at President Trump, is let's start onshoring everything, absolutely everything we possibly can. Like I-beams, those big steel I-beams. I didn't realize we don't make them here until found out during the trade deal, or the rails that are.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, so it's things like this that makes you wonder, right? Like, so did it take like someone like DJT coming to try and shake down Canada for our leaders to realize that that Canada can be more productive? Why did it take DJT to do this? Why did it take DJT for Canada to secure its borders? Why? Like, it just sounds like as if they're being very reactive and not a lot of proactivity going on. And for elected officials at the highest level, you would expect more from them.
Beautiful. Our cars are going to be made, the street cars are going to be made down the street. We don't make the rails, so we need to start making rails and start making sure that we make those steel I-beams and aluminum cans. Now, aluminum cans are my favorite. The Coke, the Pepsis, all the other beverages, the Molsons, the Labatt's, the craft brewers, we're the kings of aluminum in Quebec. They ship the aluminum down, 25% tariff. They get printed and formed, 25% back tariffs.
Life, bro.
So my question was, why aren't we making aluminum cans here? Now we're going to be making aluminum cans. They're going to lose $1 billion worth of business in the U.S.
No, but like, if you ask us, then who are we going to ask, right? We need to ask you, Premier, why aren't we making aluminum here?
And same with tin cans from Dofasco. Ship it down to the U.S., they get formed. I had a meeting with the big users of the tins. Now we're bringing a line up here. And they're going to be losing out on about 1.3 billion cans just on the tin cans. But we can build anything here. We're an economic powerhouse. You know, folks, we don't have to take a back seat to anyone in the world, and we sure the heck don't have to take a back seat to President Trump He needs to remember, yes, they're our number one customer, but we're their number one customer. You hear about all these deals he's making, and they're good countries, Japan and Korea. But I'll give you an example. With Japan, he said he made this beautiful deal and everything, and God bless him. But they buy $79 billion worth of products, U.S., off of the U.S. Canada buys $359 billion U.S. off the folks south of the border. 9 million Americans wake up every single morning to produce a widget or a good just for Ontario alone. Those 9 million jobs are in jeopardy right now. We buy more products off the U.S. than Japan, Korea, China, the UK, and France combined. So I wouldn't roll over, and I've told the Prime Minister, do not roll over, hit that guy back as hard as we possibly can, and that's what we need to do. And we can do it. We can build anything here in Canada, absolutely anything. So we're going to win this thing. One way or another, we're going to go down and we're going to roll over. We'll keep fighting every single day. So thank you for getting me ramped up like this.
You know what? So this is good, right? Because if we can build everything, then that makes it's going to be made in Canada. And if it's made in Canada, then that means it's CUSMA compliant. So then it's going to be tariff exempt. So yay, Trump, I guess, right? For finally giving Canada the wake-up call that we needed to start to be more productive, right? Everybody here in Canada, it seems like as if we just focus a lot on real estate. But then there's so much resources in Canada. Canada's got oil, Canada's got iron, rare earth metals, Canada's got potash, Canada's got all of, like, one of the most resource-rich countries. And to just make your economy revolve around real estate, it's a complete abomination, to be honest, with the blessings that Canada has been blessed with. So thanks to Donald Trump, actually, if this is the wake-up call that we needed here in Canada, then thanks to him. This is my opinion. So I wouldn't even say that this is retaliation, really. It's now we're going to start to grow our own economy here at home. And why did it take us so long? You never know. But you know what? It's better late than never, right? So in my opinion, I think, of course, Canada should never roll over, because the truth remains that even though DJT likes to claim that they don't need anything from Canada, they do need Canada's energy. They do need Canada's potash. So Canada does have some cards. This is not like when you say you don't have any cards or whatever, right? We do have some cards. So we don't need to be in a hurry to strike any trade deals when we already have something like the CUSMA protecting us. So kudos to Carney, kudos to our leaders actually on this one. If you know me, you know that I'm not so gung-ho on our leaders, right? But on this particular matter, I think they're handling it masterfully, and once again, kudos to them. But let's see what the comment section has to say, because really the real question remains, what do you guys think? Do you think Canada should be retaliating? Do you think this is bait from DJT? But let's see what the comment has to say about it. Some of the comments at least, not all of them. So here, this video actually got over 1,500 comments. One commenter says, we used to manufacture cans in Canada. We can do it again. Absolutely. Someone says, better no deal than a bad deal. We should be willing to walk away. The consequences of these policies need to be felt for a while. I agree. Someone says, doggy talking about Carney not rolling over. As if we forgot how Ford folded hydro tax after 24 hours. Shut up, dog. Honestly, I think now is not the time for political divide in Canada. We need to stick together because there is a wolf knocking on our door right now. Someone says, here's the big question. Why did you wait? And that was what I was asking too. Why did you wait all these years to start caring about investing in Canada? It was just like, you know what, real estate go up, right? To the moon. Someone else says, Ford is absolutely correct. Canada needs to do a lot more manufacturing, put more people to work, train people in tent cities, etc. I agree. You know, like we got like so many people homeless. Get them working. We have the resources. We have the land. I really don't see what's stopping Canada from really being up there with any top nations. We're a G7 nation, for goodness sake. We need to start acting like one. Someone else says, I don't always agree with Premier Ford, but I do wholeheartedly in this case. Canada needs to bite the bullet in the short to medium term and stand up to the Mango Mussolini. Canada needs to diversify away from the USSA in any possible way. the rest of the civilized world is out there, and they are all having the same problems we are. Exactly. Like Canada, there's China, there's the EU, even though they just got completely like they just got like completely turned over and they just emptied their pockets, fleeced. But yeah, there's the EU, there's China, there are other countries, and we could trade with them. Like honestly, like DJT at this point, I don't even know that like we should even be trading with the US anymore, right? Because the way they're acting like as if the way DJT, not them, because I know there's a lot of Americans that don't agree with what he's doing, right? But the way he's acting like as if America is like the almighty in terms of trading, everybody wants to access their market and everybody must bend the knee. Like, bro, this is not Game of Thrones and you are not the mother of dragons. Give us a break. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about this one. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. How do you think Canada should be retaliating to this 35% tariffs on non-CUSMA compliant goods? Let's talk about it down in the comments below. And until next time, peace.